Okay, welcome to the what we're going to call the Human Torch tutorial. This basically is the completed article. It's going to be along the same lines as this, not exactly the same. We are going to change quite a few things on this, but that's the type of effect that we're going to get. We're going to get this man with the cracks on the face, and we're going to get these particles flying off away from the face, and different little effects on there. So something along the same lines. Now, to start the exercise, I'll just close that. We go to File, New, and basically we need to type in the sizes that we require for the document. We want it 2000 pixels. So if you type 2000, make sure you've got pixels there and nothing else, so you'll have a very large image if you've got inches or centimeters. Height, we want 1100 pixels, the resolution 300 pixels per inch, which it's already on in this case, probably not in yours, so you'd have to type that in. It's RGB colour 8-bit, that's usually fairly standard. And the background content, so I want it to be black. Now, it's got white on there. We'll just select white, and then we'll change it to black after. It's probably the easiest way. So we click on OK, and then make sure you've got black for your set foreground colour. So if you click the little black and white boxes on there for the default, just above you can see the two boxes there for the default colours, which is black and white. Or if you'd got white on the top, you'd have to use this little like boomerang shape arrow there to get black to the top. And then just click on the paint bucket tool, which you'll find on the left hand side on the toolbar, and click to change it to black. There's lots more of other ways of doing that, much quicker, but let's use the easy ways to start with. Okay, next stage. What we're going to do on this is to create the background. We're going to put a concrete picture of a concrete texture on there, and we're just going to fade most of the background out and leave a circular selection that looks highlighted. So to do that, I'm just going to go to File, Open, and I've given a link, or I've copied the files below this so that you can access the files to use in the exercise. So we'll just go to Open. You need to find where you've saved the files. So I've got them here, and we're looking for concrete. Double click and open the file. There we go. Now, I did have the paint bucket tool select. It's always a good idea to click off the paint bucket tool and pick something safe, because if you accidentally click on the image, you're going to end up with little black dots all over your image there. So just remember that. Okay, now we're going to highlight this and copy it. So we go to Select All, and we go to Edit, Copy, and then we just close this and go to Edit, Paste, and there's the concrete. And we're just going to click on the Move tool at the top left there. We're going to drag this up to the top, and then use the handles. Now you must make sure you've got Show Transform Controls ticked to view those handles if you can't see them. And also we need to make sure that the Auto Select is unticked. Otherwise, if you click on different parts of the image, you're going to be going off the layer that you're working on. So it's best not to use that. We're just going to resize this. When we've got it in position, I'm going to press the Enter key, or you could click on the options bar, the tick there, which basically commits the transform. I'm pressing Enter. There we go. And now to get this effect on there. So to do that, we need to use a layer style. So we need to see the layers first of all. So the layers palette on the right hand side. Make sure that you're on the layer with the concrete on, which is layer 1. And at the bottom of the palette, you can see a little button there with effects on there, and if you put your mouse over that, it will say layer, add a layer style. Click and select Gradient Overlay. not color overlay, it's gradient. So click on gradient, and basically this will come up. Now it won't look like that when it's on. We'll just reset this to the default settings. For the first time it will come up looking like that, so we have to make changes to this. So this is why I've just clicked on reset to default. Now first of all, the blend mode at the top, we click there and we select multiply. And you can now see the texture there. The opacity we're going to look at after. The gradient, which is the white section there, if we just click in there and we want black and white, so that's the third one along. It may look black and white on the first one, that's simply the foreground and background is black and white at the moment, but if you click on the third one, whatever you've got, that will select the right colour. We're just going to click on the blank area now, get rid of that. So we can see the style, and the style is set on linear. We need to change that to radial. Now when you do that, I'm just going to move this along there. You can see that you've got this black circle probably. Now we actually want the reverse of that, and if you look at the gradient there on the box, you can see reverse, and if you put a tick in that, you can then get this. And we're just going to drag this towards the top left to that area. The scale is on 100. We can bring that down a little bit, about 88, just a touch. Up that top corner there. And then we're going to take the opacity down just slightly, very slightly. Do it to about 90 and click on OK. Okay, next stage. Let's say we want the image, we're happy with that. If you wasn't happy with that, you can actually click on the effects. If you double click the layer there in the blank area, you can get back and go back to gradient overlay, and if you use it in the wrong place, you could still move that at this stage. So you've always got a chance. If you've done it wrong, you can always go back and change that. However, once we flatten this, you cannot then change it, so make sure you've got it roughly in the right place and it looks right before we flatten the image. And to do that, we just put our mouse over the layer, right click with the right mouse button and flatten image. And that's our background. And now we just need to save that to complete the first part of the exercise. So we go to File, Save As, and we give it a name. So I'm going to call it Les Human Torch. Just so it's got a different name from anything else on there. And then we click Save. Now at the moment it's a JPEG file. This will change as we go on to the next stage. It will save it as a PSD file, because then we'll be wanting to preserve the layers. But as we've got a flat image for the first instance, we can save this as a JPEG. Make sure that you're on large file, it's dragged all the way up to the right, and then we click on OK. And there we go. That's the first exercise complete.